Joining us live now is the hostage negotiator and author of Order Out of Chaos, Scott Walker. Scott, good to have you with us this morning. So what are your initial thoughts on this prisoner exchange?
Well, it's a welcome step in what has been a really challenging few weeks. However, what I would urge right now is extreme caution. In pretty much most of the cases I've been involved in, this is the most dangerous time, the most dangerous situation we can be in. And it's important to remember that agreement is not the same as the safe release and recovery of the hostages. And so, yes, we must welcome it, but until those hostages are back under the control of the International Red Cross and over the border in Israel, there's still a lot that could go wrong.
Yeah, so what you're saying there is, an itchy trigger finger, as an example, could, put the whole thing off.
Yes, and both sides have said, we're going to keep our fingers on the trigger, literally there were their words. And so with that in mind, the smallest accident, misinterpretation, assumption, incident could just unravel this ceasefire. So welcome steps, but we're still a long way to go yet.
So the 3-for-1 deal, Scott, does it favour Hamas?
Well, that's not necessarily for me to determine. It's for the Israelis and the Hamas leadership to come to whatever agreement they have done. And as a negotiator, it's important to separate the decision-making from the actual negotiation itself. But we've seen in the past, Israel has been prepared to return an extensive number of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for their Israeli counterparts.
So who would, and perhaps you can't answer this one as well, but who would, how would Israel decide who to give up?
Well, that will be part of the negotiation mediated through Qatar and the Egyptians. Hamas will have their wish list, I guess, really, and the Israelis will know which prisoners, which Palestinian prisoners they hold, and that will be part of the back and forth, toing and froing in the negotiation until both sides can agree on who is going to come out on both sides.
I just read an article this morning in the Washington Post. The list of detainees includes 123 minors, so this is some Palestinian prisoners, folks, who were there. 5 of them just 14 years of age. The youngest on the list accused of throwing a pipe bomb. Others accused of throwing Molotov cocktails or stones. That's according to the Washington Post. So that gives you an idea of some of the kids, I should say, who are locked up in Israel at the moment, perhaps the ones to be handed over. Now, is 4 days enough to get it done?
I think what the 4 days is going to show us is, can we do this? Can both sides come together? Can they just keep enough trust in place to get the hostages out and hold fire on the fighting? And as we've seen, reports that for every extra day of ceasefire, it will be an extra 10 prisoners, 10 hostages to come out. And so we can only hope that this extends beyond the initial 4 days.
Okay. Scott Walker, interesting. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.